This happened a few years ago. I was traveling on a crowded subway train. Nothing happened, no indication, when suddenly I felt this wave of sadness inside. It was not a specific kind of sadness, but it was vague and indescribable. I felt completely alone and lonely. It felt like I was the only person alive. Not in an egotistical way, but this was different. I felt like all the people around me, all the noises, the sound of the train was just in my head, and it seemed like I was completely alone in the universe. Even the very concept of the universe was inside me. I was lost and I had a minor breakdown at that moment. I was genuinely depressed because I couldn't come up with any opposing argument. Later, I described my experience to my friend and she said, "You're just talking about solipsism." So, what is solipsism? Solipsism is a philosophical idea that claims only one's own mind is sure to exist. You can't actually know anything other than that for certain. Nothing of the external world and other minds can be verified. It implies that the reality you perceive by your senses might not exist outside of your own mind. Solipsism is a massive philosophical idea. There are many kinds of solipsism. Metaphysical solipsism claims that self, you, or however you want to call it, is the only reality that exists, and other realities and people are the extension of your own self. They're not independent. Epistemological solipsism claims that things that you cannot directly perceive through your senses cannot be known. It is not false, but will stay unresolved, meaning that if I'm looking at Eiffel Tower, I can surely say that Taj Mahal exists. Methodological solipsism has the famous brain in a vat situation. In simple terms, imagine you're out in the beach swimming, but you might really be hooked up to a computer which has the swimming simulation on. Everything can be doubted is its core idea. If we talk solipsism, we can't do so without talking about René Descartes. René Descartes was a 1600s French philosopher who refused to accept any ideas, opinions, and teachings of the outside world as truth. He insisted on finding the truth by means of introspection. He believed in answering even the biggest of life's questions by splitting them into several small questions. He called it the method of doubts. In his book Meditations on First Philosophy, he wrote, "Several years have now elapsed since I first became aware that I had accepted, even from my youth, many false opinions for true, and that consequently what I afterward based on such principles was highly doubtful, and from that time I was convinced of the necessity of undertaking once in my life to rid myself of all the opinions I have adopted and of commencing anew the work of building from the foundation." So in simple terms, he questioned all his ideas and opinions on their fundamental level, and this quest led him to his famous quote, "I think, therefore I am," in his book Discourse on the Method, because he found that everything, even our very reality, the everyday thing that we take for granted, can be questioned. Like when I was in the subway, I couldn't be sure whether all the people and the sound of the train that I heard in the subway were real or they were just in my mind, and most importantly, why would that make it any less real? If it was just in my mind, I cannot be certain of anything. But one thing that is certain is that I exist, because I am questioning my existence. If there are questions, then there is someone who's asking those questions, which solidifies my own existence, but everything other than that can be questioned. They're not verifiable, they cannot be known. Some development psychologists believe that children are by nature solipsistic. It is only when they grow up that they reason that other people must have experiences much like themselves. It is called infant solipsism. As I began to take solipsism, or whatever I understood as solipsism, seriously, the immediate question that I had was, if I am the only one that is sure to exist, why am I living this particular life? Why can't it be that I can do whatever I want with a mere snap of a finger? Why the struggle of going to a job, earning money, etc.? If this is all my own fantasy, then why am I not the one who's running the world? As my questions increased, I was getting detached from my own reality. Nothing mattered anymore. Money, passion, even love seemed like attributes of a simulation game, and I wanted to just get out. But get out from exactly what? I didn't know. Everything was getting vague. I couldn't focus on anything, and any fun that I had was because I forced myself to do what I used to like. I was becoming increasingly depressed as these ideas and constant hammering of my own thoughts. My own thoughts? Are we the thinkers of our thoughts? That's when I realized that my misery didn't stem from solipsism or my questions on reality. My misery stemmed from the fact that I was thinking constantly, and I got carried away with these thoughts. Not my thoughts, but thoughts. And that's when I realized that even thoughts could be put under scrutiny. Try not to think of a white rabbit. What did you think about just now? Did you think about a white rabbit? Or how about a black cat? Did you think about a black cat just now? So, are you sure that you thought it yourself, or you thought those things because I asked you to think? At a first glance, it seems like you are the thinker of your thoughts. But upon further investigation, it seems like thought arises independently of you. You don't decide which thought you're going to think about. Thoughts appear to influence each other. One thought would give way to another thought. If you're not the thinker, then what are you?
I am you! Come on! Your best fucking brain! I am you!
You don't control me. I control you. Well, nowadays I meditate with a single aim, to go thoughtless, to find that which is beneath the thoughts. In order to achieve that, sometimes I label my thoughts, just to separate the thoughts and myself. I would observe those thoughts. I am aware of these thoughts. So, what is it that is aware of the thoughts but is not thinking? I feel like it's not even I think, therefore I am. It should probably be I observe, therefore I am. I am the observer of thoughts. I observe everything, and without thoughts, everything becomes irrelevant, including solipsism, because I am not thinking of anything. I am just present, completely in the moment.